Welcome back to the channel. My name's Tom and today I'm visiting an amazing old school amusement park that you may have never heard of before. This is Quassy Amusement Park on Lake Quassy in Middlebury, Connecticut. I've lived in Connecticut for almost 50 years at this point, and even though this park's only about an hour from where I live, I've never been here before and neither has my mom. So come along with us and let's see what it's like and how it stacks up to Connecticut's other major amusement park, Lake Compounce.
You want to sit in the big chair?
No? And don't forget, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell. I normally do videos on flea markets, mall walkthroughs, store walkthroughs, but if you want to see more videos like this, please let me know in the comments. Thanks. There's the Tilt-A-Whirl, which has been here since 1977, and the Super Himalaya, which just opened fairly recently in 2023. So this park technically opened in 1908 as a stop along the Waterbury to Woodbury, Connecticut trolley line. Like Lake Compounce, it initially started as primarily a summer resort focused on the lake itself. It wasn't until the late 1940s that it became a full-fledged amusement park. And while this park isn't nearly as old as Lake Compounce, which opened in 1846, today Quassy feels older to me, and I mean that in a good way. I think you'll understand what I mean by that by the end of the video. One thing that definitely separates this park from Lake Compounce is that it is, in general, much more affordable. Parking was $10 compared to $27 at Lake Compounce, and admission to the park itself is free. You do, however, have to pay if you want to ride the rides. Currently, an adult ticket to just ride the rides is $32.99, or if you want to access the water park as well, then it's $42.99. I also noticed that the pricing for food, drinks, and souvenirs tended to be less expensive on average than Lake Compounce. On the other hand, Quassy is much smaller than Lake Compounce, but there's still plenty to do here. But let me know what you think about that in the comments. This ride's called Paratrooper. It opened in 1997, and even though the park is fairly old, most of the rides here seem to have opened in the last like 15 to 20 years or so, with a few exceptions. That ride's called Free Fallin', and it opened in 2010. This is the Aladdin swing ride. It was actually added this year in 2025. If I didn't know that, I would have sworn that thing must have been here since the 70s or 80s. There's the entrance to the water park, and you actually do need to buy a wristband to get into the water park. Yeah. This is the Quassy Zoo, and basically it's a playground for the kids. Now here's one of the exceptions of the rides being fairly new. This is the helicopters, and this is actually from 1958, so it does make it one of the older rides at the park. Straight ahead is Up, Up, and Away, and that opened in 2017. There's the beach. Yeah. This one's called Skipper's Clippers, and it also opened in 2017.
Yeah, I went on one of those at the Big E.
Yes.
Almost lost my lunch.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty severe.
That boat is the Quassy Queen. It takes you on a ride around the lake, and we'll actually take a ride in that a little bit later in the video, so stay tuned for that. So these rides, the Little Dipper, the boat ride, and the jet fighters, are all from 1952.
Very close.
Little Dipper, they call it. Yep. Yeah, I like those ones that have the water.
Yeah. Yeah.
Straight ahead, these are the jet fighters. And obviously they've been repainted since 1952, because now they've got superheroes on them. Iron Man, Superman, and they've got Yogi Bear, the Pink Panther. And I've got to assume that these are all officially licensed characters, right? They've got to be. Now let's take a walk through their arcade, which I have to say was fairly impressive. My only complaint is they probably have a few too many claw machines for my liking, and I would have liked to have seen some more classic arcade machines. But overall, it's one of the nicer arcades that I've seen recently, especially in Connecticut. It doesn't compare at all to the arcades in New Hampshire around Lake Winnipesaukee. There's a lot of new games in here, but there's also some vintage stuff. These are definitely vintage. If I had to guess, I would say they're probably from the 70s. Just a guess, though. Could be older. Then, of course, we've got an original Miss Pac-Man. That is definitely from the early 80s.
They've actually got real arcade games.
Yeah.
They've got House of the Dead, which isn't that old, but I kind of think of it as a classic at this point.
Oh, look at that. Raging Ape. Oh, it's one of those strength tester things. This looks pretty old. Rotomatic.
Somebody left their sunglasses.
Yep. Skee ball. Oh, you can do your own video or something like that. Or actually, it says Funnovation Laser Maze Challenge. Puppy jump. Imagine hearing that all day.
I was thinking the same thing.
If you didn't hear that, I was saying, imagine hearing that noise all day. That was a little bit annoying. That one sound that just kept going over and over again. Cruisin' Blast, that's a pretty good game. I always liked Cruisin' USA and the earlier games in the series, but they're all pretty decent racing games. Now, one thing you might have noticed about this arcade is that there's barely anybody in here, which is what I do see a lot nowadays. Barely anybody is in most of these arcades for the most part. The exception would be the arcades up in New Hampshire around Lake Winnipesaukee. Those do tend to be fairly packed most of the time.
I like the disco ball. You have to pop the balloon. Pop it extreme.
And we've got some more racing games. And that's another thing I have noticed at a lot of arcades nowadays, especially the ones at malls and amusement parks. If they have an arcade game, it's likely going to be a racing game. Or more likely going to be a racing game, I'd say. And again, other than the arcades up in New Hampshire, I see very few classic arcade machines from like the late 70s through the mid 90s. They're almost always the newer games like these things here. And this Halo game is at pretty much every arcade I go to nowadays. They do have one pinball machine, the Munsters, and this one is also fairly modern. Let's take a quick look in the prize room here. And it's got, you know, your standard arcade prizes. Nothing too spectacular. But I do like that they let you walk in here, so I guess if you get a bunch of tickets, you can walk around here and see what you can get, rather than just having to point at something from behind a counter, which is the way it is at most arcades that have this type of thing. And here's the Little Dipper in action. And again, this is from 1952. There's the trolley stop pavilion, which looks like a eating area, I guess. And I do like the fact that they acknowledge the fact that this was originally a trolley park.
More bumper cars. Those ones look pretty old.
They do.
Probably 70s or 80s, just based on the glitter paint, I would say.
Yeah.
You don't see that too much anymore.
So I was correct. I looked it up, and these bumper cars opened in 1979. So not counting the snack stands, this park seems to have two major restaurants. This is one of them. This is Bella and Bessie's Pizzeria. I'm not sure how old these games are here.
Whack-a-mole. Don't see whack-a-mole too much anymore. That's a lot of whack-a-moles.
Now, as far as I know, this is the park's oldest ride. This is the Quassy train station. And according to the internet, this opened in 1948, which might have made it one of the original rides at the park, and possibly the only remaining original ride. This is the Grand Carousel, and at first glance you might think this is, you know, over 100 years old, but no, it actually opened in 1990. Whether it was built before that or not, I'm honestly not sure. It is possible. This is Frantic, and this opened in 2015.
It might.
Over here next to the carousel, they have the Carousel Theater. And a little bit later in the video, you'll see they were doing a magic show there. I would imagine they do other performances and stuff, of course. And then behind it is their major wooden roller coaster. This is the Wooden Warrior. And again, this is one of those rides where you would think this thing is at least 50 to 100 years old, but nope, this opened in 2011.
Oh, it goes back that way. Yeah.
Those are the Crazy Cups, and those opened in 2012. And then here's the other side of the arcade and the souvenir shop, which I'll do a walkthrough of towards the end of the video. And for some reason, Humpty Dumpty's on the roof. Here's Tidal Wave, which is a classic pirate ship swing ride, or whatever you want to call it. It actually opened in 2020, and if I didn't know that, I would have guessed it's probably been here since the 70s or 80s. Very classic ride. And like I mentioned earlier, I did go on something like this at the Big E a couple years ago, and I'm not sure I'll ever go on one again. They called this one Reverse Time, and I'm not actually sure why they call it that, but it opened in 2016.
Oh, yeah.
On the left is Frog Hopper. That opened in 2000. Then over here, this is Bouncin' Buggies, and this opened in 2019.
And they must have some deal with Shakira, because that's a Shakira song right there.
Here's another brand new ride. This is the Crazy 8 Family Roller Coaster, and this opened this year in 2025. So it's good to see that they're opening brand new rides as recently as this year, so this park must be doing well. I mean, just look at it. It looks like it's doing well. They've also got this really cool old school shooting gallery with a pirate theme. This is Dead Eyes Gallery. And unlike some of the other shooting galleries you see out there, this one looks like most of the stuff probably works. I've been to a few of these where, you know, half of the targets don't even register. Let's take another look at this park's amazing wooden roller coaster, the Wooden Warrior. Here's the park's other restaurant, the Quassy Restaurant, which is not the most creative name I've ever heard, but hey, it is what it is. But now it's time to take a quick ride on the Quassy Queen around Lake Quassipog, which is the actual name of the lake. It was $6 per person, and the ride was, I think, about maybe 15 to 20 minutes. I didn't show the entire ride in this video, but I may do that on my second channel or possibly on my Patreon.
Yeah, hop on. Yeah. You should go to the front. Yeah, it was freezing and then
Yeah, let's go to the front.
Go right in the front?
Yeah. Nobody's going to block our view.
Good timing, Thomas.
Yes. Oh, that's a nice old boat. Looks like a Chris Craft, maybe.
Yeah, I guess.
Now I have to apologize about some of the wind noise coming up. I was using my external mic, but something happened to that audio, and I had to use the camera's onboard audio, which sounds terrible anytime
That's
there's
a
wind.
different beach, right? They got
Mhm.
two beaches.
Yeah, I don't know if that's part of Quassy.
Oh, that's nice.
Real
Nice and
quiet.
Yeah.
And there's the amusement park, which is small, like I mentioned, but from the lake it looks tiny.
That's good. I forgot about
So
that.
this is where the kids come and swim in the water slide. You guys have to get on the boat before. Where you guys go? Jamaica, huh? I got a Jamaican trying to run that little rollerblade. So you can come back here and swim and have fun.
That's Town Beach right there.
Yeah. Nice. Oh, we've got a platform.
All the sailboats are going to be out there.
Now, no offense to Lake Compounce, the actual lake, I mean, but Lake Quassapog puts Lake Compounce to shame. I'm sorry. This is an amazing lake.
Is there another house?
I only see that one.
Yeah.
Not surprisingly, the lake is surrounded by some extremely nice homes. Most of these, I would assume, are multi-million-dollar homes. And apparently this entire island is owned by one family, or at least that's what the tour guide was indicating. And wow. Wow. That's all I can say is wow. Now, I have to highly recommend the Quassy Queen. Again, it was only $6 per person, which I think was reasonable, and the ride was just shy of 20 minutes, which is a fairly decently long ride, I think. So if you're ever here at Quassy and the weather's nice like it is here, definitely take the Quassy Queen for a ride.
Getting as old as the park.
Before we go, we've got to get some soft serve ice creams. They were $6.75 each, which is actually less expensive than at, say, the Brimfield Flea Market, for example, and the quality was far superior, too.
Hi, can I have one vanilla soft serve and one vanilla and chocolate swirl soft serve?
In cups or cones?
Cone.
$14.49. And then the other one was a vanilla or chocolate.
I'll take that for
I'll
you.
take that.
But it might
Got my hands.
be vanilla.
The other one was just vanilla.
Well, that's a big ice cream.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's a big one.
And then, like I promised, we're going to take a quick walk through the souvenir shop here. And I did end up buying something. They were charging $8.25 for this water bottle, which is about half what they were charging for a water bottle at Lake Compounce, I think. And then this coffee cup, which is actually what I ended up buying, was $9.25, which I don't think was that bad a price. Who else here had one of these switchblade combs when they were a kid? I remember those were really popular back in the 80s. And they're apparently making a comeback. You can also get a Quassy cowbell for $3.50. Not exactly sure what you'd call this, but it's basically a rock with a skull and crossbones on it, and I think the skull lights up. And I didn't see a price on that. And they've got Quassy magnets, which were $4, which is what you normally see magnets going for at amusement parks. And some patches. No price on those, but I can't imagine they were too expensive. And some postcards. Didn't see a price on those either, but again, I can't imagine they were too much. Thought these were kind of neat. These are Quassy license plates, but sadly they were made out of cardboard. If these were metal, I definitely would have bought one. And they've got some sweatshirts. I did not see a price on the sweatshirts though. But these t-shirts were $17.50 each, which I think is reasonable.
Hi, Marvis.
We're going to make a copy, a replica, a facsimile of her card magically appear in the balloon of her choice. All right, so you had a free choice of all those cards. Now you have the free choice. Any balloon, you have red, blue, yellow, or green. Whatever balloon you pick, we're going to make your card. What? What happened?
And there you have it. That was Quassy Amusement Park in Middlebury, Connecticut. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment. And before we leave, let's take one final look at the Wooden Warrior. You gonna ring the bell?
No. It's a wedding.
Here. Ring the bell if you had a great day.
Oh.
Trying to ring it.
There you go.